Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Stu, and this is Gentle Glen for Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic. The local population prefer gentle and relaxing rides, so it's your job to expand this park to suit their tastes. Your objective, to have at least 1,200 guests in your park at the end of October Year 3 with a park rating of at least 600. And I know what you're thinking. Who is this Glen chap? Well, so Chris Sawyer, the guy who made Rollercoaster Tycoon, he's Scottish, and in Scotland, a glen is a name for a valley. So I would presume that this area here is known as Gentle Glen. So the guests prefer less intense rides. So let's have a look at some guests. Dylan, we've got Tiger, okay, Flora, and Diana. There you go. Let's have a look at them. They all want rides with intensity of less than 4. Okay, now they will go on rides slightly higher than that if they're happy enough and if the park rating is good enough and that sort of thing. But there is one simple trick we can use in order to ensure that the coasters that we build are low intensity. I'll show you what that is later. But for now, let's have a look to see what we've got. We've got a junior coaster there. And look, that's over the 4. But as I said, if they're happy enough, they will go on something slightly above, slightly out of their comfort zone. We've got a helicopter ride, which takes up a lot of space. I'll probably shorten that. I think I'll keep the junior coaster as it is. Oh, there you go. We've got a warning there. So we haven't got any drink stalls down. But we do have one unlocked, so that's cool. So we can put that one down. Now, my first impression of this is that we don't have a lot of pathing. And you know me, guys, I love my pathing. So I will be spending the first year sorting out, or at least the first few months anyway. It's not going to take me a year. First few months sorting out the pathing. Let's see what we've got then. We've got some transport rides. We've got a good selection of gentle rides and some water rides there as well, so that's handy. Not a great selection of junior coasters, I've got to be honest. Some thrill rides. We've seen the water rides, or most of them, and shops. I think what we'll do for at least the first few months is we will research shops. Let's get a better variety out. They can research in the background whilst we're tinkering with the paths and things. Because we've got plenty of rides to get on with. Oh, there's some vandalism there, so we can sort that out. Easy way of doing that, go into the bench, click on the spanner or the wrench below it, and as you can see, it glows red. If we hide scenery, then it makes it easier to spot the vandalism, so then we can just double tap on those, and that fixes it. Cool. Yeah, so I'm going to crack on putting down some shops, sorting out the paths, and fiddling with the rides, and I'll see you soon. June, year 1, 370 guests in the park, and look at my pathing. Look how spiffy it looks. So, the reason why I like to fiddle with pathing first is because it's much easier to do the pathing and then fit the rides around the pathing than it is to do the rides and fit the pathing around the rides, if that makes sense. So, let's have a look then. We've got a path coming down here onto the edge. We've got a mix of tarmac and wooden pathing where there's like a bridge or something. I just think it looks nicer. Coming around the bend then, we've linked up some pathing there as well. We have added a Ferris wheel and we've shortened the helicopter ride and also split the stations as well. Help with throughput and yeah, shorten the station because it was way too long. And yeah, so we've got pathing coming around here, some more wooden pathing path going up. So we've got a nice section in the middle here, little bridge going over there. Oh, look, a little duck. Quack, quack. Coming down here, toilets and kiosks on major corners and junctions, that sort of thing. Plenty of pathing. Back around. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. Let's have a look at the junior coaster. I did say there was one simple trick. Park designers hate them. Okay, so this is Funbug then. I've renamed it. I'll overlay the original ride on screen so you can see the difference in the stats, and basically it's about half. So that one simple trick is that all coasters need to meet certain criteria in order to get good stats. And if you don't meet those criteria, then the stats are basically halved. So in this case, I've deliberately failed to meet the highest drop height criteria. So Marcel's done a guide which shows what all these criterias are. So in that guide, it shows that the highest drop height for the junior coaster, it needs to be either 13 foot or 4 meters. In this case, we've got it at 9. So we're failing that height criteria. So we're getting our stats halved. Now, as you know, the guests were going on it before. But for this playthrough, I just thought it would be more fun, more interesting if I do it this way. And hopefully, once we start getting some bigger and better coasters, well, they probably won't be bigger and they probably won't be better. But once we get some more variety of the coaster types out there, it should be more interesting anyway. So, yeah, I think what we'll do now is we'll just carry on and, yeah, fill in some of these gaps that I've built. October, year 1, 640 guests in the park. We've got the green arrow, so the guest numbers are going up. So we're just over halfway to the goal then, and only 1 year in out of 3. So we've got a side friction coaster just here called Slider. And as you can see, the stats are pretty low. That's because we're failing the highest drop height again on this one. It's the same as the junior coaster. It needs to be 13 feet or 4 meters. In this case, we got it at 9 feet. Or 3 meters. Depends on how you like to look at it. So, yeah, so that's pretty cool. One thing about this tactic, though, is that because the stats are lower, you will be only able to charge lower prices. So in this case, because the coaster is brand new, we can charge a little bit more than what we would normally. So we're charging £5. Now, let's look at the cash. So we've just about well, we haven't even scraped 2,000 a month on ride tickets, and we're up to the maximum on the loan. As you can see, I know we're basically in the red, but we've maxed out our loan. But I just figured it was more important to put down some fencing along the path to make it look pretty than spending money on rides. Well, that's just something I like to do. So we've got a haunted house just there. Nice stats path going around the inside of the hill just to give us some more space. Guests loving that. So we can charge for that one. Charging £3 for that one. We've seen the Ferris wheel coming back around, more fences along the paths, make them look pretty, etc. Maze just over there, balloon stalls by some of the exits just to get a little bit more cash out. With the maze, I've just gone for my usual trick of having one continuous path from the beginning to the end. So you want to maximize the amount of guests that go through it. Got some shops and things just down here. Up here, we've got a twist. Only charging £1 because they're never that popular. But, you know, this one kind of is because the guests like rides that suck. So, yeah, we're never going to make a fortune from rides like this. But the more flat rides we have in the park, the more guests that'll come in. And then when we do have some better coasters down, we will be able to make a lot more money. So we've got a mini coaster just down there. So with that one, as long as we keep it to 1 drop, it's going to suck. And in this case, that's what we want. October, year 2, just under 1,000 guests in the park. So we only need 230 more to get the goal. And we've got another year to do it in. And the park is looking pretty packed. And some of those coasters look really exciting. But they're not. Okay, so let's have a look then at our additions. Come on around, we've got a go-kart. So we were researching roller coasters for the last year. We've researched those, so now I've put some research into thrill rides. We've done those. There was only the go-karts came out. So now let's have a look what we're doing. We're researching gentle rides now. Okay, so we've got the go-karts there. Good stats on that, so we can charge some decent cash. £5. Moving round then, we've got a pirate ship just down there. Guests love these. So the stats aren't bad. And then, there you go. We've got a launched loop-in coaster. But for this one, it's only got 1 drop. So if it needs, a loop-in coaster needs, if it hasn't got an inversion, it needs 2 drops. So that's why when I normally build a coaster similar to this, I'll have a slight drop on the top track. This one doesn't have that. So the stats on bloops is 2.5, which is pretty cool. in this case, because we don't want anything great. And then we got a mini coaster just up here, and I like that station design. I've gone for a little bit of texture with the walls. I think it looks pretty spiffy. Not bad for a scenario playthrough anyway. So let's have a look at the stats. No, that's Patrick. We don't want to see the stats of Patrick. Let's have a look. High stroller. And look at that. That's about half of what we'd normally consider a good ride. So, yeah, so in this case, the rule of 5 is that if you could build a ride that would normally be 5 excitement in 5 minutes and charge £5 for, but make it suck, then guess the one less than 4 excitement intensity will go on it or something. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty cool then. So on this one, it's only got the one drop. Normally, they need 2. And that will give you the good stats. If we had 2 drops on this one, that excitement would pretty much double. But yeah, we've only gone for the 1. And then, it's going to rain. Let's fast forward the rain. I'll give us some decent cash, actually. Okay, that's the rain over with then. So that month we had 5,000 from the Sweet Umbrella cash, added to the 10,000. That's the loan covered. So this is Mild Mouse then. So with this one, the ride stat that we've deliberately failed is the ride length. So normally we'd need a length of 558 feet or 170 meters. We've got 390 feet, so obviously considerably less. So we've got a good drop and then a second drop there. But the guests are loving it. Look at that queue line. We're charging £5 a go. We're making so much cash off this ride. There you go. Look at that. 5,500. Only Bloops is making more. And that's not even full. Imagine if this ride was full. We'd be rolling in it. So anyway, we are doing pretty well with the cash as it is. So we need 200 guests. So we're just going to have to put down some gentle rides. I don't know if we've got space for another coaster. I don't want to make it too sort of packed. I don't want to, we've got tons of space over the water for rides. And you know me, I don't really care too much about realism. I find it overrated. But I don't want to have anything that looks too dumb either. So we're going to try and cram some rides in. We might have to rejig this section of the junior coaster to fit a few more rides in, and hopefully we can scrape by the goal. October year 3, so we've got just under 2 weeks to go then. We've got 1,225 guests in the park. We've reduced all the rides down to either £1 or free if they're that rubbish. And as you can see, we've painted the ground, make it look a lot nicer. So let's have a look then. We've rejigged the junior coaster slightly. Got a circus and a spiral slide just down there. A little seating area as well. Some shops, fences, that sort of thing. Little bridge there. We've got a little boat ride just round there. Coming round. I was umming and ahhing about having some sort of water ride in this section. I just couldn't quite get it to work. We can't buy any land. If I could have bought this bit of land or this bit of water down by here, I could have done something there which would have been cool. Otherwise, it would just look a bit awkward. Got a little wonky house there. Just added a little bit of decoration below to hide the foundations. Coming round then. Just round here, we've got a Dodgems, which is broken down. But, looks pretty cool. Coming round here, we've done some decorations on the go-karts. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. What are we doing? 24th of October, 1,228 guests, 27. I am keeping an eye on that. We need 1,200. So, as I said earlier, there was plenty of space that we could have added like a coaster or something around the outside on the water. But I don't want it to look dumb. I want the park to look nice. And I think it does look really cool so far. And I like the fact that some of the coasters, if you don't, if at first glance, you look at the coasters and think, how are those working in a park where guests want low intensity rides? And then you realize it's because of that one simple trick. Yeah, so what are we doing? 4 days to go. Guest numbers have dropped slightly. We do have that trick up our sleeve where we could put a no entry sign over the park gate to stop guests leaving. We don't need to do that. we are fine. We have saved it 2 weeks out, so if we did fail, we could always go back and redo it. So added a little trick track on the reprofiled last section of the junior coaster. Let's have a look at that. Decent excitement for a coaster that we've deliberately built badly. So yeah, another day to go then. We got plenty of balloons around the place, so they are gonna let them go. It's not very good for the environment, is it? Oh, the circus. We've called this Glen's Big Top of Fun because even though I've already said that in this case the Glen is the valley, but we've also called the person Glen as well. So yeah, stew, awesome sauce, fantastic. That was a cool playthrough. I know we have done it before where we've done one of these scenarios with by deliberately failing ride stats, but I think that's the only time because you don't get a lot of these scenarios that come out. I think it's definitely the first scenario where guests prefer low intensities. It might be the only one from the main series. I'm not sure. It might be. If you know otherwise, let me know. I would be happy to be corrected on that. So let's focus then on Mild Mouse. So I've been Stu. This has been Gentle Glen, a scenario that we passed by deliberately building bad roller coasters. If you enjoyed the playthrough, please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.